So we're going to be talking about, obviously, a few things like whether or not is Bitcoin going to ignore all this noise, this presidential noise, and head up to 20K, right? I really think that we might just do that. We might just do that. We're going to talk a little bit about that in the charts and look at that possibility and how it will play out. Morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching my videos. I'm here joined with Inti Campo.
Good morning, people. How are you?
And today is a new week, right? And it's the week of the selections, the presidential selections in the United States. It's not an election, it's a selection. And we're going to find out who's going to be selected. And I feel most likely it's going to be Biden. Might be wrong, but that's just whoever wins, right? We lose either way, so it doesn't really matter. Also, we're gonna go over a little bit of the news, right? What's going on? What's happening? Is this a CNBC? What's it called? Indicator, right? Whether or not this is the time where Bitcoin's probably gonna take a dump, because you know what? I realized that CNBC came out. Hey, Bitcoin! I'm buying Bitcoin. Time to buy Bitcoin. A few days ago. So maybe, just maybe, this is an indicator that things are going to roll over for a bit, and maybe we can get a little bit of a chance to get in on some cheap Bitcoin before it takes off even further. All right, but before we do all that, Inti's got a few words to say.
Yes.
Right?
As always, it's worth to remind you people that this video is for entertainment purposes only, and this is not financial advice. Please do your own research before putting any of your hard-earned money on the market.
Alrighty. So let's just bring up the charts here, and as you can see, let's go to do the weekly here. And if we zoom out on the weekly, actually this is a monthly chart, and it doesn't show that. But let's go to the month right there. So this says month, right? See, it's a monthly chart. Any of you guys see something interesting there on the monthly chart? Do you see something interesting there?
I see a monthly W, man.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that.
It is big and fat and precious. Look at that.
Look at that. Isn't that a beauty? Right, and it's confirmed. Confirmed the breakout because we broke higher than that last middle high there. And yeah, you know how I don't like breakout trades, right? Because it always hurts you, man. You get into that breakout level, which is the last high, previous high there, and it was just 13.8, and no, it goes straight back down. So you probably want to look for something as it comes back down to see if you can get in at a decent entry. What I like to do for continuations is the 38.2. Now I got to start making sure that my actual fibs are actually accurate, because I'm so mad at myself, and I'll show you in a second why. Because I made a mistake on fibs, and that would have totally changed my outcome for my last trade, which was a short trade. I shorted it too early, and only because I made a mistake on the fibs. Anyways, let's take a look. Let's see. 38.2 is the 12,500 level, so that sounds logical. I think we're going to see maybe a pullback to 38.2, but sometimes it doesn't do that. So start nibbling. Once we pass a certain level here, which is, let me zoom in, right? As you can see, okay, before we get to that, where we're going to buy, right? The mistake I made was I did not set my fibs exactly at the 2 points, the lowest point and the highest point. It was slightly off, right? It was like this, and I had the wrong fibs. And if I did do it right, I would have said, oh, look at the 61.8. Look at this. The 1.44, right? We topped out there, but 1.618 was just a hair trigger away. And look, we hit it, we touched it, and came back. Like clockwork. And if I knew that, if I saw that, I would have been hitting that number right there. I would have been hitting that as a short not the way I did it here, right? I wish I had done this correctly. My bad, and I plan to learn from that mistake and never have that happen again. All right. Well, this AB equals CD is completed. It looks like now that we've seen that, hey, this thing is pulling back from the 1.618. We're going to see some sort of retracement anywhere between the 38.2 and the top here. So 38.2, because this is a different chart. Let me just remove this now that I don't want to see this ever again. That's done, right? Well, maybe we could go to 2.0. But anyways, let's go from here. Yeah, that's correct. And let's see, make sure I'm actually at the bottom there, right? And then we can see the 38.2 is, wow, interesting. Look at that. Look where the 38.2 is. Right at the top of this level here. That makes sense because markets like to, go up and then retrace back to the last level and then go, when they're in a bullish run, they like to do that. So you can see, right, that it comes right back to this level here, this yellow level, which is the previous high right here that we broke out from. So this is a most likely target to get in. And you can see that since we're so far away from all the moving averages, we have to come back and retest these moving averages before we go higher. Is it possible that we continue higher nonstop? Yes, it is. But it's a lower probability, and especially since we hit the 1.618, like doink, and then came back. It's most likely we're most likely rolling back, and we have to break through. Of course, we're gonna have to break through a lot of these trend lines here, and so once we break down below 13,000, I think you should start nibbling, because you never know when this thing could turn around. I have something in my eye, so just bear with me, and I haven't been able to get it out, so I'm not winking at you, trying to think you're beautiful out there, but
you are, but that's not the
but
idea
you
of
are.
the show.
Well, yeah. Alrighty. So, so that's where I'm looking to get some cheap coins as we break down. So hopefully, and then once we do, I think we're going to go higher. Now, looking at the longer time frame again, to figure out if we can get to the 20,000 in the next before Christmas, before the end of the year, which is 60 days from now. We have to see that. You can see that this is, even though you could say, okay, well, we've had a hard time breaking out here. We have this trade location, which is going to create some sort of resistance for Bitcoin price action, right? It's just because this is where the shorts, the people, the bears are just gonna be piling on, trying to push this thing down, right? This is their location for that. So you're going to have to expect a little bit of resistance. Now, once we break through this, right, we're probably going to retest the break through that area, and we go through the 78.6. This is $16,000. I really think that we might get to 20,000, but here's why, and we might do this because here's why. If we take a fib retracement from here to here, exactly, and then we do the 1.618, which it loves to hit. Look where the 1.618 is. It's at $20,100. So if we push higher, which I think we're going to do that, we can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks away, right? We can do this in 6 weeks very easily, especially since you have a lot of banks now onboarding Bitcoin. Now, it all depends, of course, if they allow you to take ownership of your Bitcoins and stuff like that. If they don't, they probably just providing you derivatives in order to prevent you from actually causing any price increases, right? Actual price increases if you have money, if large sums of money. And some people who have large sums of money prefers that because the reason why is that with the problem is liquidity, right? If you've got like $100 million, $200 million, $300 million, there isn't enough liquidity here, right? For you to buy, to just go, here, 300 million, right? And I'm putting it all on Bitcoin. No, you'd be one that's moved the price all the way to 20,000. And since you don't want to do that, right? You might be well happy to take on a derivative of that instead, right? And now, right? What the cool thing of that though is that you could take on that derivative, right, on their side, right, for the bank side, and then what you can do as a wealthy person is just use the rest of the cash, right, to actually pump the price up to 20,000. Right? And now you've got that cash. Now you can sell because all they have is a derivative. So there is no liquidity in order to get out, right? So for example, when you pump the price to 20,000 and you've won, you put down 300 million, you've pumped the price to 20,000, you've won. Now you say, "Give me my money," right? There is no like change in the price. They can't change. There's no change effect to the price when you're selling as well. So when you're buying, there's no effect to the price because you're using a derivative. And when you're selling, there's no effect to the price. So this is why some people are interested in getting derivatives. Right? And this is I think this is what's going to happen, right? We're going to see this happen in the next little while because there's all these wealthy people that are interested in Bitcoin that have hundreds of millions of dollars. They know they can't do this. They can't go and buy physical Bitcoin. They can't buy a Bitcoin. They're crazy. That will push the price up too fast, too far. They have to go with the derivatives, and since there's so many now, you know that they're going to do that and to help basically us push the price up higher because I think the Federal Reserve is going to print the money and give them the money, and they'll be happy with that. Now, unfortunately, there is a case where the Federal Reserve the Federal Reserve might say, hey, you can't do that, dog. You can't do that. Because if you do, right, we're going to come and get you. So, yeah, there becomes a point where you're so rich that, they'll be giving you a call and say, no. Just like they did with Warren Buffett, right? Because Warren Buffett did the exact same thing for silver. He went all in on silver way back in the 90s, really, when it was at the absolute lowest point it possibly can get. And then they probably gave him a call and said, yo, dog, you need to give us that silver, man. Because he actually sold it all, right? Halfway through the bull run, right? He didn't, he sold it all for, I think it was like $10 or something like that when he got it for $2 or $3. So, he could have sold it for a lot more, but I'm sure the Federal Reserve told him not to, that he couldn't do that anymore. He had to get out. All right, so with that said, let's take a look at what's happening with Ethereum. Ethereum, right, it was about to take off. Looks like it's ready to go and test the top here, the 417 level. I thought it for sure it was going to test this area before we actually got rejected. And no, complete rejection. Let's just take a look at from what level, because it depends on what fib level the rejection is. Will tell us a little bit more information. If it was a 38.2, that's not good. Oh, come on. Okay, let's see here. No, we haven't gotten to the highest point yet. Let me zoom in. make sure that that is absolutely correct. Unlike the last time. There we go. That's one's correct. And this one needs to go to that level. There we go. Now, go make sure all those fibs are correct. And looking at, oh, we hit the 61.8. That's good. That means though, well, we might do an AB equals CD, right? Don't you think, Inti? We might do an AB.
Which level did we reach?
We reached the 61.8. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a high chance then.
There's a high probability this is going to be an AB equals CD. Downwards. So let's just take a look at what that could produce. Clone. And that's not good. Okay, yeah. So we're right at the, what is it, 360 level. Well, yeah, there we go. We should bounce off of this. So a wick to low to this low is fine, and then we come back up to the above it. That's fine. That's acceptable, because well, guess what? That's like in the 61.8 ping pong, basically. There you go. There you see it right there, because this is the 61.8 coming back down. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Look at that, Inti. That's crazy.
What happened?
It's the AB equals CD lines up perfectly with the 61.8 coming back down. Let me just make sure. Just make sure that that's the case. Let's just make sure.
Well, you see, when we get to these kind of numbers, nothing is coincidence.
Exactly. Exactly. It's never coincidence when they do this kind of thing. Let me just make sure that the numbers are exactly correct. There we go.
You go traumatized.
Exactly, because I don't want to do that again. All right, so let's see here. 61.8 is the exactly 3. Let's see here. Is the 351 and 80 cents, 84 cents. And this takes us exactly to, just make sure that that's correct too. Yeah. And that takes us to 355, 356, something like that. So yeah, that's close enough. Yeah. Right. We're gonna probably like just wick down to the 61.8 and off we go. Nice. Sweet.
Wow.
Like that. That's an easy one. Right? Now, what should you do for your trade here if you wanted to like see how this thing is going to play out? Well, we could do some sort of like bot trade. I would not, because of those long wick down, I would not be interested in getting in on a short trade here. Just yet. Let's just see if the what's it called? If we get a bounce here before we do that, and then if we get bounce, and I'm looking for the enter at the 25% level. So if I can do something like this on a short trade, where I can get 3 to 1. Right? Let's see here. Where's the 3 to 1 right here? So this is where I'd be interested in getting in. Right here at 391. Right? Take a 3 to 1 risk to reward ratio and off we go. Right? I'm not interested in shorting down here. I'm interested in shorting out here. Because I want to get paid big time. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for when it comes to Ethereum. Alrighty, I'm gonna copy this, post this in the Pandora's wallet group. What do you think?
I play kind of like a chicken sometimes. And I will go for a more solid stop on that particular trade. Maybe something closer to the 78.6. It will make your entry much harder. That's the downside, but also your stop more solid because, this specific pattern, in order to be like perfect, let's call it like that, shouldn't go past 78.6.
Yeah, so you would put your stop loss way up here.
Yeah, and you have 3 stops. See, the one that you are starting from, 1, 2, where the double short signal, and 3 at 78.6. But your entry will be much harder. You can maybe potentially see the trade slipping through your fingers.
Yeah, so that's why I think this one's good. I think what I got here is good, and I bet you wherever this ends up, it might be like the Hail Mary, right? As it comes back comes back down, it bounces, comes back up. It might be a Hail Mary, and then there we go. We roll over and stuff like that, and that's it. Now there is no bearish divergence here, which is also a concern. Maybe we'll see something on the hourly. No. Right? So that's a concern. There is no divergence for this trade. So yeah, there is a concern that this could just turn back and go higher. So that's trader's life, right? You take it as you see it, right?
Yep.
And that's it. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and just make sure that you manage your risks and don't bet the farm. So if you're going to take this trade, it's like 1 or 2%, 3%. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're trading.
What's the rule number 1?
Rule number 1 is not to get wrecked, and always be here to trade again tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right? That's always you have to do, right? Is to make sure that you don't lose enough money, you don't lose all your money, so you can't trade again anymore. All right. With that said, yeah, if you're watching this video after the fact, right? You're not watching it live. You're missing out, right? And you want to watch it live, right? All you have to do is purchase the DJ15 token, and then you could be part of the DJ15 group, and have enjoy like there's 370 members here, so yeah, and basically you'll have access to the live stream that we do every single day, Monday through Friday. Not every single day. Some days I take off to do some extra other videos. But yeah, for the most part, we will be here from Monday through Friday. Alrighty. Also, you could also gain access by purchasing Pandora's wallet. Now, somebody forgot to change the price, so you have a short little while before this price changes. I don't know. By the time this video goes up, you might not. The prices might be back to normal. So, yeah. If you're watching it live, you might want to get some get some on this discount, because it might go away by then. Okay. Another thing that I'm really concerned about, where I think that Bitcoin might be turning around and headed back down, right, is because of the CNBC indicator. Right? They came out talking about...
Welcome back. We've got a Bitcoin alert. The cryptocurrency surging to its highest level in nearly 3 years. It is now up in 9 of the past 11 days. Let's bring in Michael Sonnenschein.
Okay, so when these guys come out, right, it's basically, the CNBC Bitcoin Sell signal strikes again, right? I mean, right, here's the thing. Cryptocurrency traders are forever looking for reliable indicators to help them time their market entries and exits. Seemingly trivial, yet with surprising accuracy, the hosts of CNBC's Fast Money have served as such a signal in the past. Yeah, I mean, they basically, when these guys come and buy, that's when you sell. Right? When these guys tell you that not to buy, that's when you buy. It's ridiculous, right? You can see it with stocks. I remember somebody putting together a whole indicator spreadsheet on the charts. And if you've seen that before, please share that with us, either in the what's it called, in the comment section, or if you're in our Telegram groups, please share it. right? If you've seen that chart where somebody's plotted every single time fast money has come out to with the buy or sell recommendation, and see how every time it's just gone in the opposite direction. So if I really thought about it, right, and I wish I had mixed. If you mix these two together, your TA with CNBC fast money, you would have saw this, right? This is what would have happened on Friday, right? When I was planning this trade. Oh, and if I just made the mistake of not screwing up the fibs, man, I would have said, "Oh, really? You saying buy? Oh, okay." And we got the 61.8 here. Where is it? Oh, I forgot. I took it off. Hang on. Let me just put it back on, because it's a good one. That was sweet. Hang on. Let me just. Did I zoom out too far? And this is daily, and it's right here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if I put the fib,
I think one of your subscribers got it. Let's see.
Yeah.
95% accuracy. 95.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to forward it to you.
Send the link inside the Telegram group.
Thank you,
right?
thank you, Mr. HR Booms. He gave us the.
Okay, let's see here. Let me see if I did he put it in the
I'm sending you to your private Telegram.
Okay.
You go. Oops, wrong one. Excuse me.
So here we go. Let me just go back to this, right, and point out. So now, if I saw the 61.8 right there, you see it right there, and let me just clean this chart up a little bit.
You have it.
You saw how it just doinked it, and then coming into that, I would have said, yeah, the CNBC guys, they're coming out, they're pushing the market. People are going to come in and buy this thing and push this thing all the way to 61.8, 1.618. And that would have been the short to get in on. There you go. Clean, nice, easy, right? With those two. So now we're gonna use that. We're gonna use that 95% indicator, right, with our TA, with the TA to help ensure that we get a decent entry every single time, because we get who doesn't want a 95% accuracy indicator?
Oh man,
right? Right? We're gonna be using them from now on. All right.
Maybe they invent their own analysis. You know?
Yeah. The reversed analysis. Oh man. So yeah, that will be our technique going forward, right? We're gonna make sure that our TA is a little bit more accurate. Sorry about the mess on the screen here, but I'm wondering, I should take off. Let me just get rid of some of the stuff here, so that we can clean this up a little bit. If we cross there, I just love all my indicators and stuff. I don't want to get rid of it.
Your charts looks more messy than my room. That's a big insult. I'm sorry.
Oh man, damn. Yeah, no, my charts are messy. Right, so the 38.2, but the 38. Remember the 38.2. Where does that come back? Oops, why does not that? That's not correct. Oh, I see. So the 30. We want the 38.2 from. Screw that part. We want it from here. That's the most important part right there. 38.2 should line up with that. There we go. It should line up with that yellow line, so that's perfect. I love that. I want to see that. You want to see that, so that it's you see that it's clear that it could come. That it's a high probability that it's going to come back here, and then bounce from there, and then we're off to the races. And so we can probably get a really decent trade here. Risk 5% because this is set up so nicely. So start nibbling maybe at the 13,000 all the way down so that we have 5%, and then go and watch this thing roar, because this looks like it's ready to roar moving forward. All right, let's head over to the next topic. Right, you know that this is ready to roar because you know what, everybody's thinking Bitcoin is a treasury asset, right? Bitcoin is the best reserve asset humanity has ever had. Duh. Okay, name something else. Some other asset that you could purchase, right? That has a fixed supply, right? And you're like, oh, painting, artworks. Okay. Let me just rephrase that. That's fungible, meaning that one item is the same as another, and a fixed supply. I can't think of anything, right? So you can't say eggs, right? Because an egg could be bigger, one egg could be bigger, and then there's always more eggs, right?
So there's a fixed supply. If I have more chickens.
Yeah, and that's not fixed supply, right? You can't say gold because the supply is constantly increasing by 2%, and yes, it is fungible, right? And so there is nothing else like this. You could easily lose up to 90% of your fiat savings to inflation alone in 100 years. Actually, let's check that. 90%.
You don't need to go as far as 100 years. You should go to any Latin American country. We can do that in 10 years or less.
Oh my God! Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's actually 96%, please. Right. And this is what the government's telling you, right? Buy Bitcoin. Oh, this is the buy Bitcoin now. Okay, that's good. I like that. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
As you can see, the Fed, in fact, the dollar has lost 96% of the value. Today is the world, and so look what it says.
Oh!
Buy Bitcoin, worldwide.com. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Right?
Oh,
Somebody's looking for how much it lost. Oh my God! Yes, you have to notice these little things. But anyways,
Ouch.
96%. So, right? This information is a little bit inaccurate. 96%, right? In 100 years, and probably even more than 96%.
Nope.
Right? Right? But like you said, just go to Latin America countries, and you could lose that faster. With that stated, the amount of Bitcoin that publicly traded companies held as a reserve is a tiny fraction of the corporate treasuries around the world. Yeah. It's about 5 trillion. Indeed, the actual amount of cash held reserves is in the trillions of dollars. But consider the 9 companies of the S&P 500 sitting on close to 600 billion in cash short-term investments. And if 5%, $30 billion of that amount is converted into Bitcoin, the price could easily increase 5-fold. All right, so this is true, right? It's maybe a little bit more to 5-fold, right? I think, but at this point in time, but probably about 60, 70 billion. But the point is, right, the rest of these guys, these top 9 companies are not going to buy. They are taken care of by the Federal Reserve. That means that their money will always increase by the rate of real inflation. So they don't have to worry about that because, you know what, they're so big, they're going to be like, Fed, this inflation thing is not happening to us. Got it? We clear? We clear on that? Right? Right? And so yeah, they can do that. Now, when you're big enough, right, you can do these kind of things, right? An excellent way to evaluate an investment is to take $100 million and move it forward 100 years and ask the question, what happens? This is a good mental exercise. I want you guys to really think about this. If I had 100 million worth of currency in any of the largest cities in the world in the year 1900 and went forward for 100 years, I put my money into the best bank in the city, I have 2 types of risk: counterparty risk and inflation risk. regarding counterparty risk, every major bank in every major city around the world failed in 100 years. Get that through their head here. Regarding counterparty risk, every major bank in every city around the world failed in 100 years.
Wait, how can a bank fail?
How can a bank fail?
Yes, I mean in current state.
Well,
because a bank, I know it could fail pretty easily.
Currently, all the banks have failed.
Mm-hmm.
Every single bank has failed currently at the state. The only thing that keeps them alive is free money from the government.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's why they don't fail. So how can they fail if they are constantly being supplied with fresh money?
But effectively, what the thing is, right, is that we've come to the point in history, right, where the money has to fail for us to show you that the banks are done. It's basically like the tide has to wash away, right? Like, you know what Warren Buffett said. Once the tide rolls out, right, you'll see who's swimming naked, right? And all the banks are swimming naked, except maybe, you know, you're a specific bank or something like that, and a few others that are cash only, right, fully cash, but the rest of them, they're done. If the currency fails, they're finished too.
I understand.
Right?
Wow.
So,
I mean, for you, it's,
so yeah.
You already know this like 10 years ago, but
Yeah.
for most people, that's a revelation.
Exactly. And I didn't think that they were going to let it happen that way. But that's back in 2008. I thought they would let the banks fail, right? So that, they preserve the money, right? But they didn't. And so that's the direction they want to take. And so that's what we're going to do. So the point is, right? Effectively, right? Your bank has already failed, right? It will take you down through inflation instead, through what's it called? They'll hold you down and wipe you out through inflation, right? Because they'll get bailed out and you don't, and you don't basically. And that's where we're at right now. So you're guaranteed, with your cash, guaranteed right now to lose all your money, no matter where you are in the frickin' world. 100% guaranteed to lose your money in some time before the end of your lifetime. Think about that, right? And that's 90% probability of losing everything. So there's a 90%. I don't know if he meant that, but I think he meant there's a 90% chance. Let's just assume, right, that the bank still is alive, which will be the case here in this current state, right? You'll lose 90% of your wealth or more, right? And so you use the banking system. Now, for the first time ever, we have an asset class that you could take forward 100 years, and you'll be effectively super rich. Think about that. And you could say, well, what if the encryption gets broken, Davinci? What happens then? What happens to all my money then? And what I say to that is that first off, right, there's double encryption on Bitcoin, and not both of them will be broken, right, at the same time, and that's not possible. So, with that said, right, 100 years from now, if you have it in an address that you've never used, it will still be there. So, alrighty. Over the weekend we had the Halloween, and I wanted to mention that this cute little thing. Oh my God, it was so beautiful, right? These kids, right? They got $100 worth of Bitcoin. And I remember you hear, right, you gotta watch this, right? The link's in the description. Oh my God, I got $100 of Bitcoin. I got Bitcoin, right? You can hear other kids say, I want some Bitcoin. And the thing is, right, the parents are like, what's Bitcoin? Bitcoin has any value?
I don't know. What watch TV?
Oh man, it's crazy, right? But the kids, they get it. The rest of the adults, they're just never gonna get it, right? All right. So last night, I talked about last night I talked about the more things change, the more they stay the same. Right? When you read this, right? Here, I'm going to read this, guys, to you. Gentlemen, right? This is from Andrew Jackson from way back when in the 1836, fighting a bank. Gentlemen, I have had men watching you for a long time, and I'm convinced that you have used the funds of the bank to speculate in the breadstuff of the country.
So
Do you think that
doesn't
sounds
it?
familiar? When you won, you divided up the profits amongst you. When you lost, you charged it to the bank, meaning to the people.
That's so very familiar.
Exactly. You tell me that if I take deposits from the bank and annul its charter, I shall ruin 10,000 families. That may be true, gentlemen, but that is your sin. Should I let you go on, you will ruin 50,000 families, and that would be my sin. You are a den of vipers and thieves, and I plan to rout you out. That's what he said. That's what he said. And you know what? We've gone so far. We're too far gone in order to rout out the banking system. Let's just say we had a president selection that we could select, right? That we could vote for. Like, let's just say Ron Paul was in the running. And you know for a fact that he would just, close the charter of the banks and let the economy fall so that it could collapse, right? And then restart new. Do you think he'll be alive in order to do that? No. Right? Because too many people are so ingrained and will lose so much money. That means every single person's 401k, every single person's retirement fund will collapse and probably lose the majority of its wealth. Right? If you did the right thing at this point in time. And so how can any president do the right thing? It's too late, right? Don't you think, NT?
Mm-hmm.
It's way too late, right, for that. So, alrighty. But let me close off with, another bank joining us, right, so providing custody. Now, I would like to know if this bank will do derivatives or actual Bitcoin. If it's actual Bitcoin, meaning that you can withdraw it, and I did not read through this article, but if they are doing actual Bitcoin, that's great. If not, that's fine too, because you know what, these wealthy people like to screw around with banks in order to win anyway. So they will outsmart them, right, with their derivatives and use it against them, right? And then this will create more inflation, right? Create more high and destroy the currency a lot faster. So yeah, that's where we're at, and I see that that these guys, if the banks join in and they the next little while and wealthy people use the derivatives against them, we can get to $20,000 really fast. So that they can they'll take profits at this level, of course, and then we'll see a little bit of a dump before, and then come back to the 16,000, and then we're off to the races. Alrighty. Okay. Well, that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate everybody. If you're still watching live, we're going to be going on to the question and answers period. If you want to watch this live, purchase Pandora's wallet or the DJ15 tokens in order to get in and watch that. You can learn how to do so in the link to the description below. And thank you for watching. Cheers, people.